Thank you for joining this episode of our webinar series on best practices in eDiscovery and digital forensics. Today's session is focused on a dynamic topic and source of ESI that can often go overlooked. The Internet of Things, or IoT, is on a rapid ascent with billions upon billions of devices deployed. We're seeing more evidence from IoT sources and cases, and we're expecting that to grow significantly. Today we're going to cover the basics of IoT evidence, how it can be collected, and show you how Lexby and Lexby Copilot, powered by Gen AI, can help you make sense of this data for your case in the Lexby eDiscovery platform. My name is Jeff Fugit. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for Lexby, and I'll be the moderator for today's event. We've got a lot of information to cover, so I'll jump right in. Our webinars take place monthly and cover a variety of relevant eDiscovery and digital forensic topics, trends, best practices, and strategies. We've got limited seating, so be sure to register early for the sessions that are of interest to you. If you have technical issues or questions, please email webinars@lexby.com and we'll address those right away. Our webinars are available online at lexby.com for viewing via streaming video or downloadable as a PDF presentation or MP3 podcast. You'll find this webinar and a complete listing of other webinars at lexby.com or on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions during today's session, please enter them in the Q&A portion of the GoToWebinar console, and we'll answer them after the event. To be notified of future live and on-demand events, please email us at webinars@lexby.com or follow us on LinkedIn. For more than 18 years, Lexby's been helping legal teams with limited resources handle document-intensive matters. With nearly 9,000 legal professionals having come to rely on Lexby for our state-of-the-art eDiscovery platform. We have the industry's most affordable and full-featured DIY cloud-based eDiscovery platform, and this includes integration with ChatGPT and other generative AI models. We have the industry's fastest eDiscovery processing and document review platform, and this is important because being fast means you have more time to build a stronger case. But we have document review automation, and so that's been impressive how you can automatically review for responsiveness on a first pass and have that done by the large language model with high level of precision and recall. That also is at a fraction of the price of traditional TAR, CAL, and managed review solutions. We're also constantly rated as having the best customer service and support, the easiest to administer, and the easiest to do business with. We've also been rated by G2 as delivering the fastest return on investment. In addition, we have a state-of-the-art forensic lab staffed with Cellebrite and Magnet Axiom certified forensic investigators who perform full and targeted forensic collections and assist with evidence acquisition. And if you'd like a demonstration of our platform, simply email us at sales@lexby.com and we'll get that scheduled. Our guest speaker today is Nick Marrero. Nick is the Digital Forensic Manager at Lexby. He heads up our state-of-the-art digital forensic lab and has over 13 years experience, is a certified Cellebrite operator, a certified Cellebrite physical analyst, and certified on Axiom Magnet. He has a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Forensics. Before I turn it over to Nick, I'm going to cover some of the latest developments in IoT and ask for your participation in some polling questions. All right, what is IoT? Well, IoT is a network of physical devices that are connected to the internet or other devices or to proprietary networks that enable the collection and sharing of data about their usage, about the environment, about their status, about their location, and more. And with the exponential growth of IoT device deployments, there are a multitude of emerging applications that are often very specific to certain industries, like smart buildings and commercial real estate, or even more granular, specific to a very narrow use case, like transmitting pacemaker data to a physician. So now I'm going to cover some of the industries that frequently utilize IoT. So if these industries show up in your practice areas, you'll definitely want to pay attention and may want to alter your custodian interview process to include questions around IoT. So as I mentioned during the previous slide, healthcare is one industry that has vast numbers of IoT devices deployed in their environments and in patients. My good friend Suzanne Schwartz at the FDA oversees the regulation of medical device security and was involved in issuing the pacemaker recall that you see in the article to the right. Manufacturing and construction have both undergone an incredible digital transformation that includes robots, sensors, drones, system monitoring, wearables, safety devices, and much more. All of this with the promise of driving efficiencies, driving cost savings, improved safety, and better quality. Retail operations now have smart mirrors that can show you how different color options on a shirt will look on you. They also have theft or shrink prevention technologies, supply chain sensors, and more. Smart buildings are now the norm with automated climate control, security controls, lighting, motion sensors, and fire extinguishing capabilities. They also have security cameras, which is a key application of IoT in residential deployments as well. In addition, you have smart speakers that have advanced recording capabilities, and IoT also expands into financial services, media, and the public sector. So one of the challenges of IoT is simply the massive volume of data that these devices generate. If you're going to utilize this data in your case, then you must be able to collect it and then analyze it to identify the related facts and issues in the case. Another challenge with IoT in litigation is that these devices have become so commonplace that custodians may not think about them during the interview process. They simply take them for granted and they kind of blend into the landscape, so they may not think to bring them up during your interview. If your case could benefit from IoT data, then you'll want to make sure that your custodian interview process includes questions that will reveal this opportunity and reveal the potential sources. Subpoenas for Amazon Echo recordings, IoT video evidence, and location-based data are on the rise, and this data could potentially help you with your case. And without further ado, I will turn it over to Nick Marrero. Nick.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Nick Marrero. I'm the Digital Forensics Manager here at Lexby. Today, we're going to be talking about the Internet of Things and what types of data can be collected from it, how it can be collected, and how it can be used in a case as evidence. So our topics for today will include the Internet of Things and an overview about it, collecting Internet of Things data, Amazon Smart Home and wearables, security concerns, and then we'll go over everything at the end. What is the Internet of Things? The Internet of Things, or IoT for short, refers to a network of interconnected devices, objects, and systems that communicate and share data with each other over the Internet. Now, this can be a million different things. So we're going to go over all the different types of Internet of Things, of objects and devices, and what can be considered the Internet of Things. IoT encompasses a wide range of physical objects embedded with sensors, actuators, and other technologies, enabling them to collect and exchange data. The integration of Internet of Things technology enables devices to become smart, which I'm sure all of you have heard that term, smart device, capable of automated decision-making, remote monitoring, and control. Internet of Things applications in various industries, including healthcare, agriculture, transportation, smart homes, industrial automation, and more. With Internet of Things, chances are you have some type of Internet of Things device either on your person or at your home. But these types of devices and the broad Internet of Things is incorporated pretty much everywhere nowadays. And the growth of Internet of Things is going to continue. It's only getting bigger as time goes on, with advancements in edge computing, AI-driven analytics, and the integration of Internet of Things in smart cities. Now, what is edge computing? Edge computing allows a device in remote locations to process data at the edge, quote unquote, either by the device or a local server. And when data needs to be processed in the central data center, like in the server, only the most important data is transmitted, thereby minimizing latency. So things move a lot faster this way with edge computing. Next, Internet of Things devices becoming increasingly common, and their adoption has steadily grown. However, the exact number is very hard to say. There are just so many out there, and it's really difficult to pinpoint the exact number of devices out there when it comes to Internet of Things. The quick increase of Internet of Things devices steadily continued, driven by advancements in technology, decreasing cost of sensors and connectivity, and the increasing awareness of the potential benefits across various industries. Seeing just how easy it is to implement Internet of Things devices into everyday life, and then also incorporating into all these different industries and showing just how helpful and useful it can be across the whole spectrum, made these types of devices really stand out, and the industry just to explode. The adoption of Internet of Things devices is expected to persist and expand as more industries recognize the potentials, including their connectivity and data-driven decision making. So we'll just see more and more of these types of devices coming out in the industry and within our own homes. And we've already all started to see this with the many types of devices that are out there. And as you can see by this graphic, there's just so many different things that be considered Internet of Things. And basically, Internet of Things is all the devices out there in your home that connect to a network or to your central device, like a computer or a mobile or a smartphone, and have specific tasks that they're meant to do. And these can include your smart thermostats, being able to set the temperature of your house at certain times and have it just do it on its own, basically, with minimal input after everything's all set up. Your smartwatches are considered Internet of Things devices, and smart, fitness trackers. These are things a lot of us wear daily, and they transmit all their data either to the cloud or to your smartphone, and it provides us with helpful information, including steps taken and your heart rate, as well as making phone calls or receiving notifications from your phone. Smart voice assistants, that's a huge one in the industry. This includes your Amazon Alexa device, your Google Nest, or your Google Hub device. These smart assistants that we kind of all are really becoming accustomed to. I know personally, we have, I think, 3 of them in my house in different rooms, and we have them set to turn on lights. We ask the normal questions that we don't feel like pulling out our phone and Googling ourselves. Really, in a sense, makes life a little bit easier, and it's just convenient to have around sometimes. Connected cars are another one that are considered Internet of Things. Cars these days, especially the very high-tech ones and these electric cars coming out, they have their own computers and systems within them that can do amazing things, drive themselves, send you information. So this is just another crazy trend, seeing how far Internet of Things can go in our society. Smart home security systems are included with smart cameras. Again, just these devices that connect, that are around your house, around everywhere, that connect to your device and then can send you information, can do tasks. And then we also have wearable medical devices. These could be things that are monitoring, very similar to smartwatches or some of the features that smartwatches have, but then are also much more intelligent when they're doing certain things for your health, and that includes insulin pumps and even pacemakers can be considered an Internet of Things device. See by this graph just how immense the growth has been since 2015. Back when we only had 15, it's still a lot, but only 15.4 billion smart or Internet of Things devices out there. And now we're up to 75 in just a short 10 years. The growth is just incredible, and just goes to show you how meaningful these things are in our society now, that so many people have them and they exist everywhere you go, from your home to your office to hospitals and other industries out there. And then here's a chart that shows number of households using it from 2018 expected in 2027. Right now in 24 we have 69.91, or expected to be 69.91 million smart home devices in our homes. Where that many households, will have some type of smart device or Internet of Things device, and it's amazing. We're going to eventually get to the point where no homes won't have one of these devices, whether it's a smart speaker, a health tracker, a camera, anything. There will be something in every home eventually. So how is Internet of Things data stored? So IoT data can be stored on phones and tablets in certain scenarios, but it largely depends on the architecture of the specific IoT system and the design of the associated mobile application. Here are a few considerations when thinking about all the different types of ways data can be stored. So local storage on device. Some IoT devices or sensors may have the capability to store data locally on the device itself, meaning your smartphone or even a computer. In such cases, mobile applications on the phone and tablet can be accessed and display this data. So this would be similar to your Ring camera that you have, or any type of smart doorbell. The data can be viewed on an app on your phone, and sometimes you can have the app store the data directly on the phone. But a lot of the times it isn't stored that way, and the app is kind of just a viewer for all of your data. Most of the time, data gets stored in the cloud somewhere. We'll get to that one shortly. Mobile app as a gateway. The mobile app on phones and tablets can act as a gateway for the Internet of Things data. It can receive, process, and display data from the IoT devices in real time, like a Ring camera. However, the primary storage might still be in the cloud. Cloud-based storage is, the top place you'll find the data stored for Internet of Things devices. Many IoT systems prefer to store data in the cloud for scalability, accessibility, and ease of management. In this case, the mobile app serves as a user interface to interact and visualize data stored remotely. So everything can be stored in the cloud. You can access it on the application on your phone, or you can, say, go to a website, log in, and you'll be able to see all the data there as well. So having data stored in the cloud is great because it doesn't take up any space on your device itself, but you're able to view it at any time as long as you have an internet connection. Then there's the hybrid approach, where some IoT applications may have the data stored locally on the device for quick access, but all the other historical type data or less time-sensitive data is stored in the cloud. So it's kind of both two different places you can access the data from. And then, like we mentioned earlier, there's edge computing, where the mobile device might perform some processing and storage of the Internet of Things data locally, This is particularly useful for applications that require real-time responsiveness and where connectivity to the cloud might be intermittent. So this may have some data that is stored and ready to process right away with edge computing, but if you have an interconnection, it will be able to access the data directly from the server. So let's talk a little more about Internet of Things. The data originated from the Internet of Things device. So if you have data, say we're go back to the Ring camera, that's where the data originates from, the camera itself being able to view what's happening outside your front door. Some data may be stored on the device itself, like we spoke about, being able to pull up any type of information quickly that you don't need an internet connection for. Paired devices are very often needed to set up the Internet of Things devices. So if you get a new device at your, at Best Buy or something like that, and this could be, any type of, let's say a smart speaker, and you go to set it up in your home, and you need to start setting up the Alexa stuff and pairing it to you. You would download the Alexa app on your phone, and then you would be able to set everything up right there on the application. And that application can stay on your phone, or you can delete it off if you're never going to use it. But most people will keep the application on their phone if they ever need to change any settings on their device, or if they have to troubleshoot it. It's great to have that there. And then some devices sync data directly to the cloud, like Amazon Echoes and Fitbits. So the data itself, like recordings or different types of connections the device may have, will get stored in the cloud, and you'll be able to access that information from your application on your paired device. Now, collecting Internet of Things data forensically involves gathering, preserving, and analyzing the digital evidence from Internet of Things devices and related systems in a manner that maintains the integrity and authenticity of that data. So the forensic acquisition process for IoT devices and data includes, number one, determining what needs to be collected. So this would include performing some type of questionnaire, figuring out what types of devices, including the main devices like computers, cell phones, smartphones, tablets, and including questions about Internet of Things devices that may have pertinent information on them for your case, and documenting the possible devices and where they are stored or where the devices live, and then also obtaining those credentials for all those devices. If there is a cloud, most likely there will be a cloud source along with it. So if you need to get information from the Amazon Alexa or the Echo, getting the information, the credentials for their Alexa or Amazon account, and being able to download that data and have that data collected, which I'll show you in a little bit what that looks like, could be very pertinent to your case. Next step will be photographing these devices to include with all documentation, which shows the state of the device at the time of collection. And this is for forensic specialists, something that we do to make sure that when we receive the device is returned in the exact same state that we receive it. So there aren't any questions about, the device was broken when they got it back from you. Well, that's how we receive it. So everything gets documented that way. And included in the documentation, we begin the chain of custody. This will show that the data or the device is in our possession at a specific time, and where that device moves within the forensic lab, or when we return it to the custodian or law firm, or wherever it's going. Next, we'll forensically collect that data, and we will keep best practices for just like we do for any other type of device. And that will include the format of the collection and ensuring the process can be repeatable and verifiable, which is the most important part of a forensic collection. Is we're able to verify that if any other person did the forensic collection, it would be exactly the same, and that will call into question, or won't call into question, the integrity of the forensic collection, and we'll be able to show that the data that we are collecting or that we have collected is exactly how it was when it lived on the device itself. Next, we'll export the data for review, and there are few different formats we can do that in, but whatever is best for your case. And then, if needed, a forensic report will also be created, which will detail all the steps taken within the forensic collection and imaging process, and include all the important documentation along the way. So there are 3 different tiers of Internet of Things data. There's the device. These are the different tiers you can collect the data from. The device itself, where forensic investigators can collect the data directly from the local memory of the physical device for analysis. However, due to the low memory capacity and processing power of the majority of Internet of Things devices, collecting historical information can be challenging. And this is basically saying, the device itself does not have the processing power that, say, a mobile device has, or a computer, where you're able to store so much information on the device. So that's why there are other tiers, including the network and the cloud, where we will actually be able to pull the data from. There will be instances where devices can have data on them, like, say, your Apple Watch, which does have storage capabilities on it, and will be able to hold information. But a lot of that data will still be synced to your phone, but there's always the chance that something didn't sync over or didn't have time to connect to the network. So pulling the data from the device itself is always recommended along with the other methods. The network tier can provide more details about the traffic logs, which can identify patterns, sources, destinations, or even confirm the identity of a suspect or attacker. This data is likely encrypted, but can show information on when device is connected to the network or when data syncs to the vendor's cloud. And then we have the cloud itself. And for most, like we said earlier, for most Internet of Things devices, they store data in the cloud servers due to the limited storage capacity of the physical device, and this allows devices to generate and store data as well as requested on demand from the cloud. So the majority of the data you're going to be interested in will likely come from the cloud itself. And then here's a little bit more about the cloud. Collecting Internet of Things data from the cloud involves accessing and retrieving data that can be stored in cloud platforms by IoT devices. Cloud storage provides a centralized and scalable solution for managing large volumes of data generated by those devices. So much can be stored in the cloud. It's kind of limitless in how much data can be stored there. So it's a great place, for finding evidence. Collecting the IoT data from smartphones and tablets involves acquiring and analyzing information generated by these devices. So some IoT devices can store the data directly on the device itself, or your paired device, like a smartphone or tablet. So, to cover all bases, you will collect that data as well to see if there's any data on there. Like, if you collect a smartphone, you'll be able to see, say, an Apple iPhone, you'll be able to see information about their synced Apple Watch on that device. So being able to get all the data, all the different sources to make sure you cover all your bases is very important. And once the device has been collected, and then analysis of the data can be performed to see what applications that are associated with the Internet of Things devices exists on the collected device. Some IoT data may live on the device itself, but more likely it resides in the cloud, accessed by the app. Accessing IoT data in the cloud requires proper authentication and authorization. Users or applications need the appropriate credentials and permissions to access and retrieve the data. Standard forensic collection best practices remain in place when performing the collection of the data from the cloud. So when collecting this IoT data, it's important to understand the specific features of the device itself, of the app, and how the data is stored. There are many tools that we can use that are also used in other, forensic collections, including Celebrite, which is a big mobile device collecting tool. It also collects data from the cloud. So you're able to, using the credentials of the cloud app, you can be able to access the data directly from using this tool. Same thing with Axiom. Axiom will be able to access certain cloud applications as well. And then you have Encase, which is widely used in the industry, and it can support the collection of data from many different types of devices. And then there's also data you can download directly from, say, a website. The data can be downloaded from the cloud source, like Amazon. So if I go into Amazon and I look at all my different devices, or I'm sorry, my history, I'll be able to see that I have the device connected to it, and I'll be able to download that data in a user-friendly format. So certain things we can get from, say, collecting an Amazon smart home device include the messages, the user profile, all the user information, contacts, and user activities. A lot of great information can be pulled from an Amazon smart device. As you can see here, this is showing different types of requests being made to my personal Amazon Echo. So you can see how it interprets my text or my voice, or someone in my house's voice, and figures out and basically keeps a log of everything that's said. It also keeps a log of the audio itself, and we're able to download that data by accessing the Amazon Echo cloud data. Here you can see that there were some contacts on my device that appear to have been deleted. And it can show the deletion request time when it was deleted. We also have all the different types of devices that are associated with that account, including a Fire TV, a Toyota Alexa app, my printer, and a couple other things, which I'm not sure what those are. Apollo, Mantis, and Tank. That would I would have to look into that to see exactly what types of devices. But again, these could just be other IoT devices that were connected to my Amazon account at some point. And then here's an example of what you will get when you pull data from the Echo device, and you can see all these audio files. And these are just a small example, but they are all voice recordings. So the moment I say Alexa and then start asking a question or telling it to do a command, it starts recording it and saves those recordings in the cloud, unless otherwise, the system is told not to do that. But by default, it stores all that data in there. Now, when it comes to wearable devices, collecting data from smartwatches and other wearable devices can typically be performed through collecting data from the paired device itself, like a smartphone, just like I mentioned earlier, and through the collection of cloud repositories the wearable may be synced to. Data that can be collected from these wearable devices included health data, sleep patterns, location data, biometrics, connectivity data, and different audio. It's just, think about your own smartwatch or your health tracker or whatever wearable you have, and just the immense amount of data that it collects daily on you. It collects by the minute. All that information is recoverable somehow, whether it's collecting directly from the device itself, or collecting from the paired device, or collecting from the cloud. And then extracting actual data from a wearable device can oftentimes be tricky. A lot of times they don't have a physical connection like port, so we can't really connect a device directly to our forensic computers to pull the data from. So we have to think of different methods or get some type of adapters that will connect. And again, like I mentioned earlier, there's not much storage on these devices most of the time. So the majority of the data will be found in the cloud. And there's a vast amount of different types of wearable devices, so that makes it hard to have a standardized connection. So a lot of these devices, will take some time to pull data from if we need to actually do some research and figure out how to connect it and get the data pulled off. And then, of course, there are security concerns. Most devices, Internet of Things devices, they're not standardized. Nothing is from, the Echo to the, Google Home. Everything is so different, so that makes it really hard to have a consistent security measures applied to the devices or the framework. There's also inadequate authentication and authorization, which could lead to a lot of data breaches or device manipulation. There's limited resources. IoT devices have limited computing resources, making it challenging to implement robust security features. This just goes back to not having a lot of space on the device itself. There's also insecure network communications. So depending on what type of network the device is actually connected to, if it's a weak connection in security terms, then it will be easy to be tampered with or intercepted. There's also privacy concerns and also inefficient user awareness, where people just aren't aware of the security risks associated with the device itself. And when we export the data, I mentioned earlier, there's different ways you can export the data once collected for your review. We can export it to a lot of these different formats, including PDF, Excel, HTML, to load file, Word, the native format itself, or a forensic tool reviewer where you're able to kind of use an instance of the forensic tool that we have and view it yourself the way we would see it. And the metadata of the data collected is preserved during the forensic collection and can be reviewed through these exports. Here's just a little more information about the load file, since it goes perfectly with putting the data into a review platform like Lexby. We're able to export the data in this load file format, and all the metadata with each one of the native files will be preserved. So this brings us to the end. The Internet of Things, or IoT, refers to a network of interconnected devices, objects, and systems that communicate and share data with each other over the Internet. There's a large variety of devices and uses, and the three different tiers of data storage: the paired device, or the device itself, cloud, and network, and then all those wonderful security concerns. That is it for me. I want to thank you all for joining, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Nick, for walking us through the fundamentals of IoT and what's involved in the collection process of this data and how it can be used. As I mentioned in the introduction, we have an advanced forensic lab equipped with the latest tools that help collect the documents you need for your cases. We perform remote and on-site collections and have performed collections from all kinds of sources, as you can see on this partial list. If you need to find deleted text messages or collect data from sources like Slack or Microsoft Teams or IoT devices, then we're here to help. We work with a lot of litigators to help them solve their eDiscovery problems. Jordan Howlett is a sophisticated litigator running a multi-office boutique firm. Most of his cases involve larger, well-funded opposition. With Lexby, he likes having the ChatGPT integration available at his fingertips so he can quickly gain insights into the relevant case documents. And it really helps minimize the burden of sorting through those document-intensive cases. David Jones was concerned that he would be outgunned by his AmLaw opposition. He quickly realized that Lexby was a great equalizer and helped him build his best case that delivered a winning verdict. Paige Tackett at Thompson Co. needed LexB's speed to get some productions out the door to meet deadlines. LexB is lightning fast and gets you from document ingestion to productions faster. And Patrick Biggins needed an easy-to-use eDiscovery platform to handle document-intensive cases for a boutique law firm. LexB got him onboarded fast and provided the support they needed to build a strong case. And as I mentioned previously, LexB has a comprehensive GenAI integration, and LexB Copilot is our GenAI interface that delivers eDiscovery automation. So what does that mean? Well, first, this feature has been incredibly popular since we've launched it. It automates all of the tasks and delivers outstanding quality and reliability. So when I say automates all of the tasks, it automates the document review process. It can summarize one or multiple documents. And in the screenshot to the right, this is a summary of multiple medical records that includes the date of treatment, the medical provider, the purpose of the visit, what the diagnosed conditions were, and a treatment summary. It also automatically identifies key events, automatically identifies key entities, automatically identifies key issues. It can create a timeline of events. If you're in the middle of a document review that's industry specific and there are a lot of acronyms, it will automatically define the acronyms for you. It can very quickly and seamlessly identify PII and PHI. It performs language translation if you're dealing with multilingual documents. And it can easily identify email addresses. It can also analyze the IoT data for events and trends. So if there are specific events associated with your case and you're analyzing that IoT data, LexB Copilot with ChatGPT is very efficient at identifying that where it resides in the data and helping you organize that without having to sift through volumes upon volumes upon volumes of data. And then on this slide, you'll see LexB Copilot applied to IoT data. In this example, we've utilized LexB Copilot to analyze IoT data from Metro Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority. We asked it to summarize the number of routes that included home station and the times for each trip. Well, ChatGPT accurately analyzed the data and indicated that trip times were actually not present in the document, which is true. So it does a really good job of analyzing the data and presenting summaries. And when you're going through massive amounts of IoT data, it can be of incredible utility in helping you distill that down and getting to the facts that are important to you. And now our next slide, we've engineered our eDiscovery platform to be end-to-end, simple to use, and automated with tools like ChatGPT integration. It is feature-rich and lightning fast. And since it is a single end-to-end eDiscovery platform, you don't have to move your data from one point solution to another like you do with a bunch of other eDiscovery providers. With LexB, our processing is lightning fast, and once you upload your documents into the platform, you have everything you need to get all the way through to production and beyond. To thank you for attending today's session, we'll be making the following available to webinar attendees: a recorded streaming version, an MP3 podcast, as well as a PDF. Let us know if you have any questions or comments about this webinar or suggestions for future topics. This webinar is part of the LexB eDiscovery webinar series. For notices of future live and on-demand webinars as part of this series, please email us at webinars@lexb.com or follow us on LinkedIn. Also, we'd like your advice regarding our webinar series. Please complete the survey at the end of today's session. Helps us continuously improve this program and cover the digital forensic and eDiscovery topics that are most relevant to you. And with that, I'd like to thank Nick again for presenting today, and thank you for attending. Be sure to follow LexB on LinkedIn so you'll be alerted to the latest podcasts and webinar episodes, and watch your inbox for an invite to our next webinar on best practices in eDiscovery and digital forensic. Take care.